Part 7. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 61. Nan Yan casually hooked the earphones hanging around her neck and said casually, "It's the relationship between doctor and patient." He Lifeng frowned, and his doubts in his heart became more. But looking at the girl's indifferent expression, he didn't ask anything and drove to the first hospital. In the ward, his who was waiting anxiously, stretching his neck to look out from time to time. Tao Qingming was also in his ward, looking at his anxious appearance, and couldn't help but think about the relationship between him and Nan Yan. It can make an old man so solemn and anxious to wait. He must respect Nan Yan very much. Thinking that Nan Yan is the apprentice of Dr. Hua, Tao Lao vaguely understands this respect. Finally, Nan Yan came while his who was anxiously waiting. Seeing the completely unfamiliar girl, the expression on his whose face instantly turned into astonishment. "Are you, Nan Yan?" The words were full of uncertainty. Indeed, He Lao had always been in contact with Nan Yan's original body. Suddenly seeing Nan Yan's current appearance, he couldn't believe it at all. Nan Yan stood in front of his bed and slowly curled her lips. "Mr. He, long time no see." His who was like being struck by lightning, and his emotions became uncontrollably excited. "You, what are you?" "Mr. He, take a deep breath." Nan Yan reached out and pressed his wrist, lowered her head slightly, and her cold voice seemed to have magic. His who followed her words, stopped talking, and took a deep breath. After a few times, his emotions finally calmed down a little. He looked up at He Lifeng. "Lifeng, you go out with Mr. Tao first, I have something to talk to Miss Nan Yan alone." He Lifeng really wanted to find out the relationship between his father and Nan Yan. But he couldn't disobey his father's words. Tao Qingming was also a man of insight, and the two of them left the ward together. By the way, they also closed the door of the ward. "Yan, how could you be like this?" His who has not yet digested the fact in front of him. He and Nan Yan are old acquaintances. Although they met through medical treatment, the relationship between the two is a close friend. His who is also one of Nan Yan's few friends. When the laboratory exploded, his who asked around for news about her. But as he investigated, he discovered that someone had erased Nan Yan's existence, and the bombed laboratory seemed to have become a taboo that no one was allowed to talk about. He thought at the time that Nan Yan had died. It was not until he suddenly fell ill this time and was saved by Nan Yan again that he vaguely guessed that Nan Yan might not be dead. But Nan Yan shrugged and said indifferently, "She died and woke up again, and it turned out like this. It's very fantasy, right? When I just came back to life, I thought it was also very fantasy. But no matter what, I'm alive again, that's enough." She smiled helplessly. "I didn't want to recognize you, you're too persistent." His who was stimulated again. This time, the stimulation was even greater than before. Can a dead person be resurrected? To be honest, if it weren't for Nan Yan's medical skills and his inexplicable familiarity with her, he really wouldn't believe it. His who was stunned for a long time before he murmured, Yan, you are a good person and you are rewarded." Nan Yan's eyes darkened. "I don't know what happened. I hope Mr. He can keep the secret for me." His who said seriously, "Don't worry, I will never tell anyone else about this. By the way, Yan, what is your current identity? I heard that you are a student of Zhide High School. Will you go back to Country M in the future?" Nan Yan's voice was very light. "Not for the time being. Someone wants to get rid of me. I have many enemies in Country M. I can't go back until I have a certain ability." His who nodded in understanding, then stared at the girl with his eyes and said seriously, Yan, if you need help, be sure to tell me. I can't help much in Country M, but I can still help in China. The He family is a century-old family with rich heritage. He is not just saying this. Okay. After recognizing his identity with he's his who, Nan Yan checked his body again and prescribed a new medicine. Tell him to drink on time. Since they were already at the hospital, Nan Yan went to see Lin Zion. There was a beautiful middle-aged woman in Lin Zion's ward, who was taking food out for her. Nan Yan, you're here. When Lin Zion saw Nan Yan, she smiled immediately, and then said to the beautiful middle-aged woman beside her, Mom, she is the young lady with great medical skills I told you about. If it weren't for her yesterday, I might never wake up again and see you and Dad. Mrs. Lin stood up quickly. Miss Nan, hello, thank you for saving Yan Yan. If anything happened to Yan Yan, her father and I probably wouldn't survive. As she said that, tears welled up in her eyes. Lin Zion pursed her lips, and couldn't help regretting her selfish thoughts. She always thought that her parents wouldn't be sad for too long without her. After all, she had congenital defects since she was born, and it was said that she would not live beyond adulthood. She thought that they had long accepted the fact that she would leave them early. As a result, she was admitted to the hospital yesterday. When her parents arrived, they held her in panic and fear while she was sleeping. The way she almost collapsed broke her heart. Her parents love her so much, even if there is a 1 in 10,000 chance, she will survive and stay with them. Nan Yan's eyes were clear, and she curved her lips and smiled. Mrs. Lin, you are too polite. I am a doctor. It is my duty to treat illnesses and save people. No, no, I heard Yan Yan say that you can save her? Is it true? Mrs. Lin was still very excited. Her gentle and quiet face was filled with a bit of expectation, waiting for Nan Yan to answer. Nan Yan nodded. Well, I can let her grow up healthy, get married and have children like a normal person. Let her no longer suffer from heart attacks and no longer suffer life threats. Really, is it really okay? Mrs. Lin almost pinched her palms to keep herself calm. But her heart was filled with turmoil, and huge surprises were rushing through her nerves. If I can't do it, I won't make a promise. Casually, Nan Yan's voice was clear and clear, word for word. Her condition is not serious, it's just because she was born with the disease in her mother's womb, and her health has been too much for so many years. Weak. It will take at least half a year to fully recover. Don't say half a year, just 1 year, 2 years, as long as she can get better. Mrs. Lin was so excited that she grabbed Nan Yan's hand. Miss Nan, please, please save Yan Yan. I kneel down for you. Nan Yan supported her. Mrs. Lin, you don't have to do this. I told her yesterday that if she wants to live, I will save her. In half a year, I will give you a daughter who has recovered to health. Thank you, thank you. Mrs. Lin choked with sobs and covered her face with her hands. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of control, please let me slow down. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 62. After a while, Mrs. Lin's mood stabilized. Nan Yan then spoke. Mrs. Lin, when Yan Yan's body gets better, I will write you a recipe for diet therapy. First, use diet therapy to warm her up, and combine it with Chinese medicine to slowly improve her physical condition. When her body can bear it, I will help her with surgery to repair the congenital defect in her heart. Is it true that after the surgery, Yan Yan will be able to recover her health? Nan Yan nodded. Yes, that's right. That's great, that's really great. Mrs. Lin hugged Lin Zion excitedly. Yan Yan, did you hear that? You will get better soon. God bless you. It was God who knew that she couldn't lose her daughter, so he let them meet a miracle doctor. Lin Zion also hugged Mrs. Lin, with tears in her eyes. Mom, when I get better, I will honor you and Dad. Mrs. Lin's tears, which had just stopped, overflowed uncontrollably again. Yes, Mom and Dad are waiting for you to honor them. Nan Yan looked at the scene of the loving mother and filial daughter in front of her, and her heart was truly touched. The mood was completely different from when facing Lulahua and Nweo. One was touched, and the other was disgusted. Mrs. Lin suddenly said, Yan Yan, Yan Yan, the homophones of your two names are similar. This must be the fate given by God. Yes, I didn't notice it before. Lin Xian hugged Mrs. Lin's arm with a smile on her face. It was completely different from the previous lifeless look that wanted to give up living. Yes, it is fate. Nan Yan smiled and stood up. Yan Yan, I have classes in the afternoon, I'm leaving first, and I'll see you again on Saturday. Yeah, Lin Xian nodded quickly. You go quickly. Mrs. Lin stood up and said, I'll take you. Nan Yan smiled and refused. No, someone will take me. Hashtag. After meeting he's his who, Nan Yan's emotions fluctuated a little, and some things that she had deliberately suppressed came out uncontrollably. After an afternoon of classes, she slowly calmed down. After school in the afternoon, Qin Lu didn't come to pick her up. After standing quietly at the school gate for a while, she stopped a taxi and went to the Landis Hotel. She promised to accompany Mrs. Jean to eat at the food stalls, and she couldn't break her promise. Back to the hotel, looking at Mrs. Jean who had been looking forward to it for a long time, Nan Yan said helplessly. Grandma, you have to change your clothes to eat at the food stalls. You can't wear this. That luxurious dress is too out of tune with the food stalls they are going to eat. Why? Mrs. Jean looked at her whole body and felt that there was nothing wrong. There are mixed people there, it's easy to get dirty. Mrs. Jean waved her hand with wealth and power. It's okay, it's just a piece of clothing, just throw it away if it's dirty. Nan Yan shook her head. That won't work either. You go change into a loose and comfortable clothes, and I'll take you there after you change. Okay. Mrs. Jean went back to her room to change clothes, and Nan Yan also took this time to sort out her things again. In fact, I had almost packed everything last night. I dragged it to the entrance. After sending Madame Qin back, I could just carry it and go. After packing, I locked the door and waited outside Madame Qin for a few minutes. Madame Qin, who had changed her clothes, came out. Madame Qin turned around in front of her. Yan Yan, is it okay this time? Yes, it's okay. Nan Yan smiled warmly, took Madame Qin's arm, and went downstairs together. Hashtag. It's still a little early now, and there are not many people in the food stall. But this is just right, so as not to bump into the old man. Grandma, wait for me here, I'll go order food. Nan Yan reminded her again with concern. Don't run around, okay? I know, Grandma will definitely wait for you here, go order food. Madame Qin was very happy, and turned her head curiously and looked around. Madame Qin was born in a famous family, a lady from a noble family, and she was very particular about food, clothing, housing, and transportation. She had only seen such places on TV. The restaurant Nan Yan found was a popular online restaurant. It was large, beautifully decorated, and most importantly, clean. She didn't dare take Madame Qin to eat at a roadside stall. If she got sick, it would be hard to explain. Soon, Madame Qin, who had been elegant for half her life, took a skewer in one hand and ate it with relish. While eating, she nodded, these things taste quite special, not bad, delicious. Yan Yan, you eat too, it won't taste good if it gets cold. Okay. Nan Yan responded, put away her phone, picked up a skewer, and ate slowly. Liang Qian came to eat with her friends, and saw her as soon as she entered the door. Her appearance was too eye-catching. Even though she was dressed in ordinary clothes and sat in such a place full of fireworks, she was still as cold and elegant as a proud snow lotus. And many of the guests in the store were secretly looking at her. What a good seducer! Liang Qian's eyes showed a hint of coldness, and she walked directly towards her. The friends next to her saw her looking for Nan Yan, and followed her there. Pa! Liang Qian kicked their table. Sister, eat here. There was soup ordered by Nan Yan on the table, and she kicked it, spilling it everywhere. Old Lady Qin said angrily, "What's wrong with you? Why did you kick the table?" Liang Qian sneered and said gloomily, "Old woman, you'd better sit there quietly if you have nothing to do with it. If you dare to make trouble, don't blame me for not respecting the elderly and loving the young. What do you want to do? Do you want to bully my granddaughter?" Old Madame Qin reacted quickly. She threw away the skewers in her hand, rolled up her sleeves and stood up, trying to protect Nan Yan. The follower who followed Liang Qian saw that old Madame Qin was not tactful and stepped forward to push her. As soon as she stretched out her hand, an iron skewer flew past her back of the hand. A wound was cut on the back of her hand, and blood came out instantly. "My hand! My hand, ah, it hurts." The follower looked at his hand and screamed in pain. Liang Qian was also frightened by the skewer that suddenly flew over, and turned her head a little stiffly. Then she saw that Nan Yan was holding a few iron skewers carelessly in her slender white hand, with her eyebrows slightly raised, looking at her wantonly and coldly. She threw the iron skewer just now. She actually dared to hurt people. The dangerous and cold gaze gave her a warning. Nan Yan restrained her breath and asked Ms. Jean with a gentle smile, "Grandma, are you scared?" "No," Ms. Jean said no, but she was still a little scared in her heart. But she was not scared by the follower. She was scared by Nan Yan's sudden throwing of the stick. It's not good to hurt someone in public. Nan Yan stood up and put the stick in her hand on the table. Her eyebrows were gloomy and her tone was cold. "You, apologize to my grandma. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 63. The invisible pressure made Liang Qian feel a chill on her back. The girl in front of her was completely different from the well-behaved girl she saw at the racing competition. Is this the girl who softly calls the third young master brother? Does the third young master really know her true face? A kind of anger of being humiliated and deceived, as well as the disgust and resentment towards Nan Yan before, made Liang Qian raise her hand and hit Nan Yan in the face. When Ms. Jean saw this, her face changed and she hurriedly said, "Don't hit anyone." She was afraid that Nan Yan would be bullied. But how could she, an old woman with slow hands and feet, stop her? In a hurry, she took out her mobile phone and dialed the emergency number. Her emergency number was Qin Lu's. But when she dialed it, she saw that Liang Qian, who wanted to hit someone, was hit by her granddaughter-in-law. Nan Yan easily caught her hand back, and then slapped Liang Qian in the face with her backhand, left and right, and slapped her twice. "Apologize to my grandma after hitting someone." Nan Yan's expression was still calm, as if she was not the one who hit him just now. "How dare you hit me?" Liang Qian widened her eyes in disbelief. She has always been the one who hits others, but this is the first time someone dares to hit her. Her answer was 2 more slaps. "Apologize." Nan Yan's tone became colder, and her cold eyebrows showed impatience. Liang Qian was stunned by Nan Yan's 4 slaps, and the 2 little followers beside her also looked at Nan Yan in confusion. There was only one thought in her mind: she is dead. Liang Qian is the big sister of this area. As long as she speaks, Nan Yan will not be able to survive here. Not to mention that they are confused. Old Lady Qin is also confused. Qin Lu's phone call has been connected. A deep voice came through the receiver. "Grandma, is there something wrong?" "Ah, it's okay, I just pressed it accidentally. You continue to be busy, don't worry about me. The granddaughter-in-law can solve it alone, so there is no need to let the eldest grandson come." Old Madame Qin wanted to watch her granddaughter-in-law abuse the scum, so she hung up Qin Lu's phone quickly. The ruthless Qin boss who was hung up. Liang Qian was about to curse, but when she met Nan Yan's cold eyes, she was stuck. The burning pain on her face made her not want to be beaten again. At that moment, she resisted the resentment and humiliation and stammered, "Yes, I'm sorry." Nan Yan let go of her hand, took a tissue from the table, lowered her head and wiped it carelessly. "You apologized to the wrong person." Liang Qian's eyes showed a fierce light, wanting to take advantage of her lowering her head and not paying attention to give her a hard blow. She picked up the chair at hand and swung it up and smashed it. This incident almost frightened old lady Qin to the point of cardiac arrest. Yan Yan. With her slender hands, she caught the falling chair, raised her foot, and kicked it fiercely. Liang Qian's whole body arched up, and before she could straighten up, the chair in her hand was snatched away, and her arched back was hit hard. She fell directly to the ground, and the trash can beside the table was overturned by her, and the things inside just fell on her head. "Sister Qian." The two followers were terrified, and hurriedly helped her up. Liang Qian screamed and took the trash off her head, and her emotions almost collapsed. The followers stammered, "You hurt someone in public, we will call the police to warn you." "Yan Yan, don't be afraid, she was the first to do it, even if we call the police, we are right." Old lady Qin ran to Nan Yan, with a protective face. With her around, she didn't see who dared to catch Nan Yan. Liang Qian was in so much pain that she didn't dare to continue to trouble Nan Yan, and urged the followers around her to help her go quickly. Just as she turned around, a cold and chilling voice came from behind her, "I let you go." The follower mustered up his courage, "You beat Sister Qian like this, what else do you want? It's not too late to leave after you apologize." Nan Yan's words were like another slap in her face. Liang Qian squeezed her hands hard, and finally bowed her head to old lady Qin out of fear, "I'm sorry." After saying it with difficulty, she gritted her teeth and said to Nan Yan humiliatingly, "I apologized." Nan Yan helped old lady Qin sit down, raised her eyebrows coldly, "Go away." Liang Qian was so angry that she was furious, but she didn't dare to conflict with her again, and ran away in embarrassment. The man eating in the food stall looked at Nan Yan again, and his expression had changed. "This girl is too tough. Don't mess with her. Don't mess with her." Those who were planning to come over later to ask for contact information gave up the idea. Nan Yan asked Madame Qin to sit down, and went to get a broom and dustpan, and cleaned up the overturned trash can neatly. She also took a stack of napkins and wiped the soup spilled on the table. Madame Qin didn't think Nan Yan was too powerful or too harsh. Instead, she thought that it was better to be powerful, so that she wouldn't be bullied. I guess she learned to resist because she was bullied a lot in the past. Madame Qin looked at her distressedly, "Yan Yan, you suffered a lot in the past, right?" Nan Yan was lowering her head to help Madame Qin peel spicy crayfish. When she heard this, she looked up in confusion. No, what did this old lady think of? Why is she looking at her like this? She put the peeled lobster tail on the old lady's plate and smiled, "No, let's eat first." Ms. Qin nodded and said, "From now on, Grandma will protect you and will never let others bully you again. Not even ALU. Okay. Hashtag. Liang Qian had a checkup at the hospital. The area where she was hit by the chair only had some contusions on the soft tissue, which was not serious. Just apply some medicine to relieve pain, promote blood circulation and disperse blood clots. But she still felt that her back was hurting so much that it was about to burst. After changing her clothes and washing her hair, Liang Qian began to send messages to Shen Junqing. She wants to expose Nan Yan's false appearance and let Mr. Shen see her true face. The third young master must have thought she was a pure and innocent little white rabbit, so he looked at her differently. If he knew her nature was so evil and cruel, he would definitely hate her. In a luxurious and dark private room, Shen Junqing sat on the sofa casually and somewhat dangerously, smoking a cigarette leisurely. Opposite him, Zhang Hobo knelt on the ground tremblingly. The wound on his forehead was still bleeding, but he didn't dare to wipe it. The message beep sounded, frightening his body to tremble even more. Shen Junqing flicked the ashes of his cigarette and heard the voice message from Liang Qian. Third young master, you have been deceived, that sister of yours is not a good student, she is just a street girl, a little bully, bad character, very arrogant. I met her today when I went to dinner and accidentally touched her table. She slapped her 4 times, kicked her and hit her with a chair, she hits people so hard. Third young master, you have to make the decision for me. Turning up the volume on his mobile phone, Zhang Hobo also heard Liang Qian's voice. His teeth clenched, but it wasn't anger, it was fear. He is here just because he offended that little girl. Shen Junqing sneered, put out the cigarette on his fingertips, and typed 2 words on the screen. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 64. Deserve it? After Shen Junqing sent these 2 words, she blocked Liang Qian's contact information. The cheap girl has a cool personality, but she won't take the initiative to cause trouble. Liang Qian wanted to deal with her like she dealt with other little girls, but she was abused instead and turned around to complain to her. This disgusted him. Liang Qian originally thought she could be comforted by Shen Junqing. In the end, he ruthlessly said that he deserved it. Heartbroken, Liang Qian sent him another message, and then discovered that her message could not be sent to Shen Junqing. She was blocked by him. Ah! Little bitch! Liang Qian gritted her teeth, filled with hatred, I will never let you go. Hashtag. In the other box, after Shen Junqing blocked Liang Qian, she threw her phone aside and asked casually, Zhang Hobo, how are you thinking about it? Zhang Hobo's body trembled again. He was shocked and frightened, and said quickly, I will give you the land, no matter what method I use, I will make my father agree to give it to you. He always thought that Shen Junqing was just a playboy who was careless. They are all the same rich second generation who eat and drink together. But today, he clearly discovered that Shen Junqing was different from them. Dandy is just his illusion. He is a devil. If he had known that he was so ruthless, how could he dare to bet with him? Within 3 days, let me see the title deed for the land in the west of the city. Otherwise, be prepared to spend the rest of your life in bed. Shen Junqing still had the same lazy and casual attitude, with a low and gorgeous voice, but the words he said made Zhang Hobo's soul tremble. Zhang Hobo nodded like a fool, within 3 days, I will definitely get the land deed to third young master, for sure. Send Mr. Zhang out. The men who had been waiting by the side dragged Zhang Hobo, who was no longer able to walk on his own, and carried him directly out of the private room. He propped his head and thought for a while, he hadn't seen his cheap sister for a few days. How about making an appointment tonight? Shen Junqing took the mobile phone and dialed Nan Yan. When the other party connected, Shen Junqing said with a smile, Sister Yan Yan, are you free tonight? My brother will take you to play. The low magnetic, sexy, and gorgeous tone will probably make a woman's heart flutter after listening to it. However, Nan Yan's mood did not fluctuate at all, not tonight, we have to move. Shen Junqing, what about tomorrow? Nan Yan, let's talk about tomorrow's matters tomorrow. Shen Junqing, okay, brother will contact you tomorrow. Nan Yan, okay. Mrs. Jean was eating while listening to Nan Yan's phone call. Seeing her hang up, she asked a little embarrassedly, Yan Yan, did grandma delay your time? Nan Yan curled her lips and smiled, no, it's not an important matter. As long as it's okay, grandma will feel bad if I delay your business. After saying this, Mrs. Jean rudely ate all the lobster tails that Nan Yan had peeled for her. Hashtag. After eating and drinking, Nanyang paid the bill and left with Mrs. Jean. After returning to the hotel, Nanyang sent her back to her room. Standing at the door, she smiled and said, "Grandma, I will move back to my place tonight, but if you have anything to do in the future, you can call me. I can also come to accompany you on Saturdays and Sundays." Mrs. Jean still had a smile on her face, but her smile froze when she heard her words, "Are you going back?" She was so reluctant to let go. "I want Nanyang to live here with her." But she also knew that Nanyang had his own family and she couldn't stop him. "Yanyan, if the Yan family bullies you, you must tell grandma not to endure it yourself, do you understand?" "I'm not going back to Anjia," Nanyang explained, "I bought a house by myself. I have completed the procedures and can move in today." Mrs. Jean nodded. His eyes rolled around and he had other thoughts. Then, she held Nanyang's hand and said pitifully, "Yanyan, you have to remember what you said. Grandma is looking for you, so you have to come back to accompany grandma." "Well, as long as I have time, I will definitely come back to accompany you." If she promised Boss Jean, she would definitely do it. Moreover, she has always been soft-hearted towards the elderly. Besides, Mrs. Jean was very kind to her, so she would naturally be kind to her as well. Mrs. Jean said in a very reluctant tone, "Have you packed everything? Is Alu going to see you off?" Nanyang nodded, "It's already packed. My brother may be busy with something, so I can just take a taxi myself." "How can I take a taxi?" Mrs. Jean gave up. "My girlfriend is moving, so how can I take a taxi? This boyfriend, Alu, is so incompetent. Grandma, call him right now." "What incompetence?" Qin Lu came from behind, dressed in formal attire, with a chilling aura as if he had just come off the battlefield. Wu Yu followed behind, wiping sweat constantly. Originally, they planned to pick up Miss Nan in the afternoon. But the company they were cooperating with suddenly set a trap for their young master and threatened him to marry his daughter so that this cooperation could be successful. He admired the courage of that partner. He probably hadn't asked Mr. Qin's name. No, in just a few hours, let alone the contract, the entire family was finished. "I regret it now. I shouldn't have plotted against Master Qin. But regret is of no use. You have to bear the responsibility for the stupid things you do. It's okay for him to be stupid, but delaying the young master from picking up his girlfriend from school is the biggest crime." Mrs. Jean didn't expect that he would come back just when she mentioned her grandson. She said with a stern face, "Alu, Yanyan is moving, did you know?" "Yeah. You know you're back so late." Mrs. Jean got angry, "If you come back a little later, Yanyan will have to take a taxi back by herself. What's the use of having a boyfriend like you?" "My fault." Qin Lu patted Mrs. Jean soothingly, admitting his fault very sincerely. "Grandma, I'm rushing back to send Yanyan off, don't be angry." Mrs. Jean glared at him angrily, muttering, "You're so stupid to chase a girlfriend, no wonder you haven't become a regular girlfriend yet." Qin Lu. Nanyang. Hashtag. After coaxing Mrs. Jean, Qin Lu turned his attention to the child next to him. "Are you angry?" Nanyang glanced at him lightly, "No." "Why is she angry?" "He's not her real boyfriend." Qin Lu glanced at the dull expression on the little girl's face, stretched out his hand and rubbed her head. "Let's go, brother will take you there." "Okay." Nanyang silently smoothed the hair on her head. "This bad habit has been formed in just a few days. Wait until she doesn't live here, and see what he rubs." Nanyang didn't have much luggage, just a suitcase and a backpack. As for the things that Mrs. Jean bought for her, she left them in the room and had no intention of taking them away. Qin Lu looked at Wu Yu, and Wu Yu immediately understood what he meant. "Go pack those things and take them to Nanyang." Nanyang said seriously, "Brother, I don't want those things. Little friend, we are so familiar with each other, why are you still so polite to your brother? Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 65. Nan Yan pursed her lips and tried to explain, no. Qin Lu said slowly, if you don't take the things grandma bought for you, she will be sad if she sees them. Then take them. Nan Yan changed her words wisely. Then she helped Wu Yu to pack those things. Miss Nan, don't move, Wu Yu said hurriedly, just wait aside, I can pack them myself. How dare he let Miss Nan interfere with the task assigned to him by the young master? Qin Lu took the little girl aside and said, let him pack them. Yes, let me pack them myself, I pack them super fast. In order to prove that what he said was true, Wu Yu did not stop and packed them up quickly. 10 minutes later, Wu Yu had packed all the things. Then he carried them by himself and put them in the car. Qin Lu helped Nan Yan push the suitcase, and she carried her school bag on her back and went downstairs together. Before leaving, he didn't say a word to Madame Qin. Madame Qin didn't seem reluctant to leave. She waved her hand with a smile and went back to her room. In the room, Madame Qin was also busy packing her things. Hashtag. In the moving car, Nan Yan's phone call destroyed the quiet atmosphere in the car. Anziran. He should know that she was moving today and called her on purpose. Nan Yan answered, fourth brother. Anziran, Yan Yan, have you moved to the new house? Fourth brother has been too busy these days and forgot about it. If you haven't moved, fourth brother will go to help you move now. No need, fourth brother, someone will help me move. Is it the gentleman from last time? Anziran was talking about Qin Lu. Yeah. Okay, fourth brother is very busy with training these days. I will come to see you when I am done. Okay, you go first, I have nothing to do here. Anziran wanted to say a few words to her, but Xiao Ke came to call him, so he had to hang up the phone first. Soon, there was a competition to be held, and all the members of their team were undergoing devilish training. As the captain, he was no exception and had to set an example. He planned to buy her a gift with the prize money after the competition. Qin Lu waited for Nan Yan to hang up the phone, and asked thoughtfully, your fourth brother, do you have a good relationship with him? Nan Yan nodded, yes, he is the only one in the Yin family who treats me well. So, her resistance to him was not that great. Not bad. At least there is someone who is willing to protect her. The brief conversation ended here. Nan Yan really felt that she was always nervous when she was with Qin Lu. Although she knew that Qin Lu had no hostility towards her, but only cared about her, his aura made her subconsciously nervous. Hashtag. Nan Yan's new home is called Jingtai Garden Community. It is a new community that has been open for 3 years. The environment inside is not bad, and the security is also in place. When Anziran bought it, he focused on these points. After all, Nan Yan is a little girl living there, and safety must be guaranteed. She lives on the 16th floor of Unit 4, Building A. After opening the door, there is a small 2-bedroom apartment with simple decoration. Apart from the necessities, there is no extra decoration. Qin Lu is tall and feels depressed standing in this low cubicle. Wu Yu moved all the luggage up with great tact. Nan Yan saw Wu Yu wanted to help organize the luggage and stopped him, saying, brother, I can pack it myself. You can go back. There is nothing prepared in the new house, so I won't let you sit down and have a glass of water. Qin Lu looked at her obviously alienated appearance and laughed for a long time, what a heartless child. Nan Yan. How can she be heartless? Remember to visit grandma when you have time. Brother is leaving first. Oh. After seeing Qin Lu off, Nan Yan slowly breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, she went downstairs to move the things that she had bought in advance and asked the mall to deliver. After getting everything back, she slowly put them away. She was busy until about 10 o'clock, and the originally cold and monotonous room had a bit more fireworks. There are pots and pans in the kitchen. I will buy some ingredients tomorrow, and I can cook for myself in the future. After rubbing her sore arms, Nan Yan took her pajamas and went to take a shower. When she came back from the shower and lay on the bed to prepare for sleep, her phone lit up. Qin Lu, good night, little friend. Nan Yan. When they lived together before, they had never sent these messages. She thought that she could draw a line with Qin De Lao and let him fade out of her world in the future. As a result, De Lao's words good night completely broke her beautiful fantasy. Resigned to her fate, Nan Yan typed a few words on the keyboard and sent them, good night, brother. After sending, she was about to put the phone on and go to sleep, and the phone lit up again. Qin Lu, not asleep yet, then drink a cup of hot milk before going to bed, and supplement more calcium. Nan Yan's face was slightly startled, and then she sent another message, there is no new house, I will buy it tomorrow, brother, I am asleep, you should also go to bed early. Qin Lu, okay. Finally, I can sleep. Hashtag. In the hotel, Mrs. Qin is confronting Qin Lu. While he was sending Nan Yan off, the old lady packed up her things. When he came back, she forcefully asked him to buy a house next to Nan Yan's new home, and she wanted to move in. Is she planning to live here permanently? Qin Lu pinched his eyebrows and tried to reason with her, Grandma, you still want to go back to the imperial capital. I don't care, I will live with Yanyan. If you don't buy it, then I will move to Yanyan's new home by myself. Qin Lu said helplessly, Grandma, Yanyan has her own life and needs independent space. If you go there like this, it will make things difficult for her. Mrs. Qin said confidently, it is not safe for Yanyan to live with a little girl. She needs someone to accompany her. I won't quarrel with her, I'll just keep her company. Grandma, how difficult are you to take care of you? You don't have any idea? If you stay here in the hotel, someone will serve you, but if you stay there, do you want the little girl to take care of you? Mrs. Qin said with some lack of confidence, who said that? I will take care of myself. Then starting from tomorrow, as long as you don't need anyone to take care of you and do everything yourself, as long as you can support it for 3 days, I will buy a house. It was impossible for Qin Lu to reject the old lady directly. The old lady's character is that she always says the same thing, and only with him will she still discuss things. But if she can't discuss it, she will go her own way without caring about how much trouble it will cause to other people. Mrs. Qin rolled her eyes and asked seriously, you will let me live with Yanyan after 3 days of independence? No, Qin Lu denied, if you are independent for 3 days, I will buy you the house next door to Yanyan. Mrs. Qin glared at him angrily, I want to live with Yanyan. Qin Lu said calmly, Yanyan's house is too small. She can live there by herself, but it will be very crowded if you live in it again. Isn't there 2 bedrooms? How much space can I take up by myself? Grandma. Qin Lu looked at her leisurely, I'd better take you back to the imperial capital. Mrs. Qin. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 66. Early the next morning, after Nan Yan got up, she put on her sports clothes and went downstairs for a run. There is a certain reason why I don't want to stay in a hotel, because there are no good sports venues outside the hotel. Her current body is too weak and she needs to exercise more to get better. After an hour of jogging and exercising, Nan Yan went back upstairs to take a shower, changed into her school uniform, and took a taxi to school. For breakfast, while waiting for the bus, I bought a pancake and fruit. When she arrived at school, her classmates looked at her with obvious repulsion. After seeing the pancake fruit in Nan Yan's hand, the rejection turned into obvious disgust. Zhide High School is an aristocratic school, and those who can attend school here have good family conditions. Either he is a real academic master and is used to increase his admission rate. Class 4 in the second grade of high school is a backdoor class. The students in it are generally not good at studying, but they all have backgrounds. In their view, snacks like pancakes and fruits are just garbage, something only untouchables eat. Lu Rongrong contacted Nweo yesterday, thinking she had the truth, and gloated, "Nan Yan, you were kicked out by the An family, how come you still have the nerve to stay in school? The tuition for this aristocratic school costs hundreds of thousands per semester. How can you, a person from the countryside, afford it?" Nan Yan smiled, but the smile was dangerous. The reason for remembering to eat or not to take the shots is because the shots were not painful enough. "Classmate, do you need me to give you a deep memory?" Lu Rongrong's face turned pale and she sat down angrily, not daring to ridicule again. She didn't want to get beaten again. The classmate who originally wanted to see Nan Yan embarrassed, saw that it was Lu Rongrong who was embarrassed instead, and looked away in a nonchalant manner. Yes, this guy's force value is too high and he's too wild. They don't dare to mess with him casually. They just waited for her to be dropped out of school. Anyway, this semester was already halfway through and the exam would be held in more than 2 months. When the time comes, she will have no money to pay tuition and will have to get out. They will tolerate her for more than 2 months. Hashtag. The time for the computer competition coincides with the final exam, which is still 2 months away. Time was tight, so the dean asked her to spend 2 afternoon classes every day to train with the other 4 participating students. After she went to the computer classroom in the afternoon, the atmosphere in the class became more active. "I really can't stand it anymore. With her around, I have to be careful even when I speak. I really want her to get out of here." Who wouldn't want to, but she is now a participant in the computer competition. "I'm afraid she won't be able to drop out of school before finishing the competition. How about we find a way to get her out of our class?" "You have a pretty good idea. With her academic performance, apart from being forcibly placed in class 4, who would want her in the other classes? Unless she voluntarily drops out of school, none of us can do anything about it," I said. Tian Tao, the sports committee member who had been beaten by Nan Yan, had a sinister look on his face. "How about we make a bet with her? If she loses, she will drop out of school. How about that?" Someone said, "How to bet? Can you beat her?" Tian Tao sneered, "We can compare the exam rankings. Isn't the midterm exam coming up in a week? If she can't get into the top 100, let her drop out of school. You said you bet her? Will she listen to you?" Tian Tao said confidently, "As long as the price we pay is enough to make her tempted, she will definitely bet. She has been kicked out of Angia now, and she definitely has no money in her hand. As long as we offer enough money to tempt her to bet with us, she will definitely take the bait." The other students were moved by his words and nodded. "Give it a try, maybe she will agree." Yes, give it a try. As long as Nan Yan can get out of their class, they will agree to anything. Hashtag. Nan Yan came back from the computer classroom and was about to take her school bag home. I found that everyone in the class was there neatly, and no one left. It seems that he is waiting for her again. Nan Yan's lips curled up slightly, her peach blossom eyes filled with a touch of coldness, and she walked back to her seat unhurriedly. Then she found a piece of paper on her desk. She picked it up casually, glanced at it, raised her head, and looked at the people who were looking at her without blinking with a half smile. Nan Yan raised her eyebrows. "You want to bet with me?" The suggestion was made by Tian Tao. He stood up and acted as a representative, Yes, do you dare to sign this bet? Then I would like to ask, do you know where I ranked in the last exam? Nan Yan's lips curled up with a hint of amusement. If he looked closely, his eyes were full of calculation. Someone recalled, let's count down the 30 names. Nan Yan mocked, there are more than 750 people in the sophomore class of Hyde High School. You want me to catch up with more than 600 classmates at once, so you only gave me 1 million. With such a cheap bet, are you just playing house? The classmates in class 4, grade 2, suddenly looked a little embarrassed. Now that you are kicked out of Angia, I'm afraid you don't even have 10,000 yuan in your hand. This 1 million is enough for you to live in the country for 2 lifetimes and you won't be able to spend it all. You don't still think of yourself as the daughter of the Yin family, do you? When you were the daughter of the Yin family, your pocket money could be 10,000 yuan a month. Nan Yan snorted secretly. The original owner did not even have a monthly allowance of 10,000 yuan in Angia. They didn't even give her pocket money. Of course, or perhaps, her share of pocket money was deliberately withheld and spent. Even the clothes she wore had to be picked up from Nweo's unwanted clothes, and the things in the room had to be discarded by Nweo. In the eyes of the Yin family, the original owner's biological daughter was worthless. I can agree to the bet. But I am not satisfied with the amount. It is obvious that the money is offered, so don't refuse it. Take advantage of the opportunity to get more money. Nan Yan welcomes this kind of business that comes to her door very much, the more the better. How much do you want? Nan Yan stretched out a slender white finger, 10,000 per person. In this way, if she wins the first place, she will have an income of more than 7 million. Not bad, it is worth her to be more serious when taking the exam. The classmates in the class are all from wealthy families. Many people have pocket money of more than 100,000 a month, plus the red envelopes given during the New Year and birthdays, so they have a lot of money in their hands. There are more than 40 people in the class. Even if they all exceeded, more than 7 million, after calculation, each person will only share more than 100,000. As long as they can drive Nan Yan out of their class, this little money is nothing. Besides, none of them thought that Nan Yan's IQ could go from the bottom to the top in a few days. Okay, if you can get into the top 100, we will give you 10,000 yuan according to your promotion. If you exceed the ranking by 1, you will be given 10,000 yuan. But on the other hand, if you can't reach it, you must drop out. Nan Yan's beautiful eyes were meaningful. Okay, then let's sign a legal debt contract. So that you don't have to default on your debts. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 67. After printing the contract, everyone in the class signed it, and Nan Yan left with her bag in a good mood. After she left, the classmates in the class couldn't help but feel excited. In a week or so, comrades, we're going to be rid of this crap for good. Let's endure it for 1 more week, just 1 week. After she gets out of here, I'll treat you all to a big meal at Jinshiji. Then I invite everyone to go to KTV and sing to celebrate. Then I invite everyone. Hashtag. Because he needed to buy ingredients, Nanyang got off the bus at a supermarket near the community. There is no need to buy more than anything when eating alone. I only get some fruits, vegetables, and meat. When she was going to check out, she passed by the candy section and licked her lips when she saw the lollipops of various flavors. Want to eat? Then buy some. When filling the lollipops, Nan Yan couldn't help but think of the lychee wen lollipop that Qin Lu gave her. I think the lychee flavor is delicious, so most of the dishes are filled with lychee flavor. After settling the bill, I walked back to the community with a bag of ingredients and a bag of lollipops. Just as I opened the door and entered the room, my phone rang. Shenjunking. As soon as I answered the call, a lazy and gorgeous voice came over with a seductive smile. Sister Yan Yan, have you had dinner? If not, my brother will treat you to dinner, and then we can play again. Just about to do it? Nanyan turned on the speaker phone and put the purchased items in the refrigerator while answering. Shen Junking, stop it. My brother will pick you up and treat you to a big meal. Okay, Nanyan didn't refuse. I've changed my place of residence and will send the location to your mobile phone later. You can pick me up here. Well, Sister Yan Yan, wait for me. After hanging up the phone, Nanyan continued to clean up. Seeing the bag of lollipops on the table, she picked a lychee-flavored one and put it in her mouth. The sweetness, with the refreshing taste of lychee, spreads on the tip of the tongue. Nanyan bit the candy stick lightly with her teeth and narrowed her eyes slightly. Eating sweets does make people feel happy. Hashtag. After changing out of her school uniform and putting on comfortable casual clothes, Nanyan thought for a while, found the peaked cap she bought before, and put it on her head. She was always being touched on the head, so she had to show something. I really don't know where they got this habit. They grabbed her head and rubbed it non-stop. One or two of them wanted to rub her baldness. Shen Junking followed the address given by Nanyan to the building where she lived, sat in the car, and sent her a message. After receiving the news, Nanyan picked up the key, locked the door and went downstairs. The girl was wearing a white casual suit, and her long, silky hair was held up by a peaked cap. Under the brim of the cap, she had a small, porcelain white face, which made her appear even more petite and delicate. His eyebrows are cold and his skin is fair. She is obviously barefaced, but her lips are red and her teeth are white. She is gorgeous and pure. After Nanyan got in the car, Shen Junking asked with a smile, Sister Yan Yan, why did you move here? I bought a house here. That's it? Shen Junking curled her lips playfully and said in a coquettish tone, then can my brother come here to play with you in the future? Nanyan buckled her seatbelt and glanced sideways at him, aren't you here now? Also, don't act coquettishly on me. For a grown man, acting coquettishly like this is too much, okay? Especially since he looks like a person who will bring disaster to the country and the people, and his voice still controls welfare. Are he really not afraid of her destroying flowers with his hands? Shen Junking was very innocent, brother, how can I act like a spoiled brat? I said you have it, Nanyan looked at him and brought this unnutritious topic to him, where are you going? Let's go eat first. Hashtag. Shen Junking took Nanyan directly to a private restaurant. As soon as I walked in, I met an acquaintance. Young Master Shen, is this your new girlfriend? She's so beautiful, he wanted to place a hand on Nanyan. Shen Junking protected Nanyan behind her and cursed angrily, go away, this is my sister. If you talk nonsense again, I will sew your mouth shut. It turns out to be my sister. Hee, how about having a drink together? Brother punishes himself with 3 drinks to make amends to his sister, the man said a little uninhibitedly. We are all swingers, but there are differences between people. At least Nanyan didn't hate Shen Junking, and if Shen Junking hadn't protected her first, she would have wanted to kill the man in front of her. Get out of here, you're too ugly, I'm afraid you'll scare my sister. Shen Junking didn't save him any face, and pushed him away with a stern face, if you don't get out, I'll beat you up. Okay, Shen Lao-san, you who value sex over friends, just wait for me. The man left cursing, and Shen Junking turned around, hooked her shoulder, leaned forward slightly, and apologized to Nanyan with level eyes, Yan Yan, I'm sorry for making you disgusted. That's your friend. We are fair-weather friends. Shen Junking lowered her head, approached Nanyan, and said casually, without these friends, how can I be a qualified playboy? Your brother, I'm just pointing fingers at these people to deceive others. Nanyan looked at him expressionlessly, indeed, I learned quite a bit. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been deceived by him in the beginning. It was only after getting along with him later that I discovered his true nature. Let's go and eat. After Shen Junqing teased the little girl, she smiled coquettishly and wildly. The food here tastes pretty good. Let's see if you like it. If you like it, my brother will often bring you here. The two of them went upstairs together. Not far away, old lady Qin slapped Qin Lu anxiously. Did you see it? Did you see it? It's only been 1 day since we lived together, and Yanyan was deceived by someone else. You still held me and didn't let me go. Don't you want a wife? Old lady Qin was so anxious that she wanted to shake off Qin Lu's hand, chase after her, and pull Yanyan back. Qin Lu's eyes were slightly dark, and his breath was faintly sharp. Grandma, that's Yanyan's friend, I know her. Oh, so it's a friend. Old lady Qin breathed a sigh of relief. Then let's go over and be with Yanyan and her friend. That's it. By the way, it's called sharing a table. Let's share a table with them. Qin Lu casually supported old lady Qin's arm. It's not okay to just go in like this. Why don't you call her, pretend to ask where she is, and then go find her? Qin Lu calmly gave advice to the old lady. And in his heart, he didn't want the little girl to have dinner alone with the monster Shen Junqing. Although Shen Junqing swore that he regarded Nanyan as his sister. But Qin Lu didn't trust his character and was afraid that she would suffer. Okay, then I'll call Yanyan now. Old Madame Qin took out her mobile phone and happily dialed Nanyan's number. Yanyan, where are you now? Nanyan was a little puzzled when she received the call, but the old lady asked, so she told her current location. Grandma, is there anything wrong? Nothing, Grandma just wants to have dinner with you. Wait for Grandma for a while, Grandma will find you right away. After saying that, she hung up the phone with a click sound. Alu, is that so? Old Madame Qin looked proud and asked for praise. Qin Lu was stunned for a few seconds before he smiled helplessly. Well, you did a good job. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 68. In the private room, Nanyan looked at the phone that had been hung up, feeling a little helpless. Then he looked at Shen Junqing with some confusion and asked, Third brother, can we eat together for a while? Nanyan felt that both Qin Lu and Shen Junqing wanted to be her brothers. Although she did not reject the two more brothers, they both called them brothers and it was not easy to distinguish them. Therefore, she took it upon herself to change Shen Junqing's title to third brother. After all, others call him the third young master, so his ranking should be the third young master. Shen Junqing didn't have much reaction to the new title. She held her head lazily and casually and smiled wildly. Okay, is she Yanyan's grandma? He heard Nanyan's name when he called. Not long after, Ms. Qin couldn't wait any longer, so she took Qin Lu and went to the private room upstairs to find Nanyan. When Nanyan opened the door and saw the two people outside, a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then he returned to his natural state and smiled slightly. Grandma, you guys got here so fast. Ms. Qin directly took Nanyan's hand and said with a smile, Yes, I happened to be looking for a restaurant nearby to eat. When I knew you were here, I rushed over immediately. Nanyan nodded with a smile, then looked at Qin Lu and called out obediently, Brother. Okay. Who are you coming to have dinner with? Your fourth brother. Boss Qin kept his face open and told lies, pretending that he didn't know that it was Shen Junqing who was with Nanyan. No, Nanyan said calmly, it's another brother. Yanyan has several brothers, right? Do those brothers like Yanyan? Ms. Qin was not very clear about An's situation and thought that only An's parents were not good to Nanyan. She met An Mulan last time, but An Mulan didn't say a word at that time, and he didn't show any disgust towards Nanyan. She felt that a beautiful and sensible girl like Nanyan would definitely be loved by her brothers. Qin Lu frowned slightly. Just as he was about to remind the old lady not to mention the people in the Yan family, so as not to make Nan Yan feel bad, he heard Nan Yan say indifferently, "I only have one fourth brother." She didn't intend to recognize the others. The brother inside is acquainted by fate. Well, the only thing that can make money with her is luck. Mrs. Jean had seen too many scandals and intrigues among wealthy families, and she suddenly felt a little more sorry for Nan Yan. At that moment, he patted Nan Yan's hand with pity, and then naturally changed the subject. "Oh, wouldn't it be inappropriate for us to come?" "It's okay," he said, he doesn't mind. After Nan Yan finished speaking, he glanced at Qin Lu. Shen Junqing didn't mind the old lady coming over, but she didn't know if she minded Mr. Qin. However, she felt that the two of them would never fight in front of her. "Yan, does it take so long to open the door?" Shen Junqing's voice came. "Coming." Nan Yan replied and said to Mrs. Jean, "Grandma, go in first." Shen Junqing was still spinning the water glass boredly. When she saw Qin Lu suddenly coming in, she stopped her hand and almost dropped the spinning water glass. That is to say, he reacted quickly and caught it in time. Then Nan Yan and Mrs. Jean also came in, and he put down the water glass in his hand, put his hands on the table, crossed each other, and looked directly at him with a smile. "Master Qin, check the post." To be honest, Shen Junqing didn't believe that Qin Lu would fall in love with a little girl like Nan Yan. After all, in their eyes, Nan Yan is still too young. He has just turned 18 and has not even gone to college. If he dares to do this, he is a beast. He didn't think that such a mature and steady person as Qin Lu would make such a mistake. Maybe, he wants to be cultivated? Qin Lu ignored his words, pulled out a chair and sat across from him. "Third young master Shen, are you too idle?" Shen Junqing curled her lips and said lazily, "Yes, I am so idle every day, doesn't Mr. Qin know that?" After Nan Yan helped Mrs. Jean sit down, she glanced at them lightly. Ignoring the tit-for-tat confrontation between the two of them, after asking Mrs. Jean about her taste, she ordered directly. Qin Lu looked at Shen Junqing and said in a calm tone, "If Mr. Shen has free time, he can go find your group of friends to pass the time. Yan is still a student, so don't disturb her." Shen Junqing sneered, "Young Master Qin, are you being too lenient? I don't need your permission to play with my sister. You don't have a certificate, so you're not official yet." Qin Lu's expression did not change, but his voice became colder. "If it were someone else, I really wouldn't care, but there is something wrong with third young master Shen's character, and I'm worried that Yan will be led astray by you." Shen Junqing, who was directly attacked, slammed the table and said angrily, "There is something wrong with your talent and character. This is slander. Produce evidence, or I'll sue you for defamation." Qin Lu leaned back in his chair leisurely. "Do you still need me to list third young master Shen's romantic affairs?" Shen Junqing. "Damn, he was just pretending. As a result, my reputation was really ruined. Who could he talk to about this pain? What a shame. The smoke is still young, Mr. Shen, don't harm the future flowers of the motherland. Go away." Shen Junqing was so autistic that she didn't want to speak. Then she rolled her eyes and sneered back, "Young Master Qin doesn't seem to be any better than me. You just bully Sister Yan because she has never lived in the imperial capital and lie to her that she is innocent and ignorant. Do you need me to tell Sister Yan what happened to you?" Shen Junqing raised her eyebrows with a threatening look on her face. He thought Qin Lu would be nervous and stop him from talking. As a result, Qin Lu ignored him and looked at Nan Yan, who was talking to Madame Qin. "Little friend, don't forget what you promised your brother." Nan Yan was stunned. She never thought that the fire would burn on her. What did she promise him? For a moment, Nan Yan couldn't remember what she had promised. Qin Lu saw her confused look and pinched her cheek as if to punish her. "Forgot." No, Nan Yan slapped his hand. I will study hard and get the first place in the exam. After a pause, she said, don't embarrass my brother. When Qin Lu said he wanted to transfer her to a better class, she refused. Then, she promised that she would do well in the exam to prove that she would not be affected in class 4 of senior 2. Coincidentally, she also signed an agreement with the ignorant people in class 4 of senior 2. This time, she will get the first place in the exam to make Mr. Qin happy. Shen Junqing suddenly discovered the difference between Nan Yan's attitude towards him and Qin Lu. Sister Yan Yan, how can you be so obedient in front of Qin Lu? So cute. Why are you so cold and not cute at all in front of him? Inexplicably a little sad, Yan Yan, do you also think that the third brother is not good? Nan Yan. Are these two competing for favor? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 69. When Shen Junqing asked this question, Qin Lu also looked at her. Even old Madame Qin was paying attention to the side quietly. Stared at by 3 pairs of eyes, Nan Yan calmly replied, no, third brother is very good. Anyone who can make money with her is a good person. Moreover, although Shen Junqing is a little annoying, he is very good to her. One cannot be without conscience, just like she cannot deny that Qin Lu and old Madame Qin like her. She remembers it all. Shen Junqing raised the corner of his mouth and raised his eyebrows to Qin Lu with some pride, you heard it, Yan Yan still likes me very much. Qin Lu. Childish. Nan Yan silently glanced at the two of them and decided to ignore them. Continue to quarrel with each other. Hashtag. Soon, the dishes were served, and Nan Yan took good care of old Madame Qin while she ate, peeled shrimp shells for her, and picked up dishes that were farther away so that she couldn't reach them. Qin Lu glanced at her leisurely. Ms. Qin remembered the agreement between her and her eldest grandson and said quickly, Yan Yan, you eat too. Don't just focus on grandma. Grandma can do it herself. Nan Yan smiled, it's okay, don't worry, I'm eating too. No, no, grandma can do it herself. You are growing up now. You should eat more and make yourself fatter. Don't pursue thinness blindly. It's not good to be as thin as a stick. We are not allowed to learn to lose weight like those people, understand? Ms. Qin was worried when she saw Nan Yan's thin arms and legs. It looks good, but it looks like it can be blown away by a gust of wind. Such thinness is easy to affect health. She is waiting for Nan Yan to give her 2 great-grandsons and great-granddaughters in the future. She cares about her health very much. No, Nan Yan smiled softly with her lips hooked, I eat a lot and don't lose weight. She didn't have time to gain weight. This small body will be at a disadvantage in the future when fighting. That's good, that's good. Madame Qin saw Nan Yan was still helping her peel shrimps, so she also helped and put a small mountain of shrimp on Nan Yan's plate. Nan Yan looked at the food in front of her and said leisurely, Grandma, I was born in the year of the pig, and I can't eat so much. Madame Qin smiled and said, it's okay, eat as much as you can, just don't eat too much. Hashtag. After the meal, Shen Junqing asked Nan Yan if she wanted to go. Nan Yan nodded slightly, no one could stop her from making money. Grandma, my third brother and I have something to do, so I won't stay with you for long. You just ate, let me accompany you for a walk to digest the food. Madame Qin was reluctant, but Nan Yan had spoken, so she had to nod, okay, then you go and get busy first, remember to come and see Grandma when you have time. Nan Yan hooked her lips and agreed seriously. After discussing with Ms. Qin, Nan Yan said to Qin Lu obediently, brother, goodbye. Qin Lu's dark eyes were filled with emotions, flickering, and after a while, He spoke in a low voice, don't go back too late. The little guy is restless. He is also a habitual liar. Even if she agrees to him on the surface, she can secretly do what she wants to do. Uncontrollable. Nan Yan nodded wisely and followed Shen Junqing into his car. Fasten the seat belt. Nan Yan relaxed on the seat. Shen Junqing sighed, sister, are you and Qin Lu engaged? Seeing how much Mrs. Qin likes Nan Yan, even if Nan Yan has no background, she can't wait for Qin Lu to marry her. Nan Yan was startled suddenly, lowered her eyes slightly, and her long and curled eyelashes trembled slightly, and said lightly, it's too early. She didn't explain to Shen Junqing that there was nothing between her and Qin Lu. Such private matters don't need to be explained to outsiders. Moreover, she and Qin Lu are indeed rumored boyfriend and girlfriend at present, and there is nothing to deny. Shen Junqing raised her eyebrows, and her charming peach blossom eyes were full of playfulness. Is Qin Lu really so unkind? So many rich daughters and celebrities don't like him, but he likes a high school student. Is he a little abnormal? Hashtag. Alu, Yanyan is now at this age and loves to play and be lively. You are too dull and always have a stern face. It's so serious that it's easy for people to feel oppressed. You should coax her more, tolerate her, let go of your status, and adapt to her preferences, understand? Mrs. Qin was so worried about her eldest grandson getting a granddaughter-in-law as soon as possible that she wanted to teach him step by step. Especially Shen Junqing, who suddenly appeared, made her feel that she had to remind him a little better. Otherwise, Yanyan was abducted by another man, and she would have no granddaughter-in-law. Alu, did you listen to what Grandma said to you? Yes, Qin Lu responded lightly, then held the shoulders of Old Lady Qin and asked softly, Old Lady, go back. After separating from Nan Yan, Old Lady Qin felt that she didn't even have the mood to walk around outside. She sighed and said helplessly, go back. Hashtag. Here, Shen Junqing brought Nan Yan to the casino where they first met. Is this the money-making thing that third brother talked about? Tonight, there is a gambling king from abroad who wants to challenge the club. He is so arrogant that he wants to abuse the whole place. Shen Junqing glanced at the girl's cap, changed his target, put his hand on her shoulder, and asked with a smile, are you interested, sister? Anyone can do it? Yes, the casino owner has also invested a lot of money. If you can beat this gambling king, in addition to the winnings, you will also get an extra 50 million bonus. Nan Yan's eyes lit up when she heard this. Okay, then I'll participate. According to the casino owner's meaning, she would better be able to take away a few $100 million tonight. She is one step closer to her laboratory. Shen Junqing was surprised by her reaction. Sister, don't tell me that you can gamble. What he meant was that he would participate and let her be his mascot, and then the winnings would be split 50-50. After all, Nan Yan said before that she was short of money, and he liked this sister very much and wanted to help her. The result? I have the skill of making money quickly, Nan Yan said faintly. When I was short of money in the past, I went to the casino to make a fortune. In order to prevent being hunted by the casino owner, I had to change my appearance every time I entered the casino. In the past, when Shishkin was not so well known, they were short of money. Everyone who works in a laboratory knows that experimental equipment is extremely expensive, and it is purely a machine that burns money. In order to keep the laboratory open, she can only find a way to make money. She has abilities, but she won't use them to commit crimes. She can only go for some side projects that make money quickly. For example, racing, boxing, gambling. These gray areas, but permitted projects are her favorite places to go. After all, she can earn a lot of money by going there once, which can support the laboratory's expenses for a period of time. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 70. Recalling the past, Nan Yan's eyes were filled with coldness. Soon, she suppressed it again and forced herself not to think about it anymore. It's useless to think about it now. When she has enough strength in the future, it won't be too late to think about it. Shen Junqing felt the coldness flashing across her body and guessed that she might remember something bad. But she controlled her emotions very well and returned to normal in an instant. Everyone has their own secrets, and he didn't intend to pry into them. He just reached out and patted the top of her head wearing a baseball cap, and smiled, "Okay, then today, third brother will see how Yan Yan kills everyone." Hashtag. In the casino, the boss looked very unhappy. The gambling king Sitapon from Thailand was too powerful and had high gambling skills. Everyone who played against him ended up losing. He already had more than 130 million chips in his hand. And it was still a long time before that night. Under such circumstances, I'm afraid the casino will lose at least tens of billions. It is very likely that after today, the casino will go bankrupt. The boss is not the owner of this casino, he is the boss who is in charge. He has asked for help from the big boss behind the scenes, but the big boss behind the scenes doesn't care about the things here. Seeing another person leaving the gambling table dejectedly, the boss called the hall manager and asked anxiously, "Where is Mr. Shen? Hasn't he arrived yet?" The hall manager trembled. "Mr. Shen said he would be here in a while, maybe he is on the way." The atmosphere in the whole casino today is extremely depressing, without the usual shouting and yelling, it is more solemn. The boss gritted his teeth, "Go and urge again." "Yes." Just as Shen Junqing and Nan Yan entered the casino, his mobile phone rang again. Seeing the caller ID above, he answered it casually, "I'm here." The hall manager said excitedly, "Mr. Shen, where are you? I'll pick you up right away." "No need to answer, I'm at the door." Shen Junqing hung up the phone and walked straight to the gambling table. The hall manager trotted over, nodded and bowed, saying, "Shen San Xiao, you are finally here, hurry up and take a seat." Shen Junqing said lazily, "I won't go, let my sister play 2 rounds first, if she can't do it, I will go." "Ah," the hall manager was confused, "let your sister play 2 rounds. After reacting, he was sweating coldly, "San Xiao, now is not the time to joke, the Thai gambling king is arrogant, and the more he fights, the stronger his aura is. Your sister may be scared when she faces him. 1 or 2 rounds is nothing, the main thing is that in the current situation, Sitabang has been winning, which has greatly damaged their momentum. I urgently need to win a round to reverse this situation." Shen Junqing was not anxious because of the hall manager's words, and said slowly, "My sister is also good at gambling. Let her try first. Maybe my sister can beat him without me." "Is that so?" To be honest, the hall manager didn't believe him, but Shen Junqing said so, and he couldn't offend him at this time. "Okay, let your sister play in the next game." The hall manager's side turned to Nan Yan, who was standing next to Shen Junqing. Stunning at first sight? Although she was wearing a half-covered mask, it still couldn't hide her amazing beauty. On the contrary, because of the half-covered, she looked more mysterious, cold, and noble. After being amazed, he cried in his heart, Shen San Xiao really wanted his sister to play a joke. However, he didn't dare to go against his will. He groveled and sideways, "Shen San Xiao, Miss Shen, you follow me first." Nan Yan didn't say anything when she was named Shen. Anyway, she didn't reveal her true identity here. On the rectangular black gambling table, Jesadabang was holding a cigar, very pretentious. His expression was also well placed. It is estimated that he has watched many movies of God of Gamblers. He didn't have the arrogance of the villain, but revealed a kind of unfathomable style. His aura was indeed strong. But the person who was gambling with him on the other side had a complete mental breakdown. There was a layer of cold sweat on his forehead, His face was pale, his body was even trembling slightly, and he was fidgeting. Give up. You have no chance of winning. Ji Sitabang's Chinese accent was a little strange and stiff. After saying that, he picked up the cigar, flicked it in the ashtray held by the person next to him, and put it back to his mouth. I give up. The man smiled bitterly, put down the cards in his hand, stood up decadently, and prepared to leave his seat. I don't know if it was too much stimulation. Just after taking a step, his body shook and fell straight down. The people next to him hurriedly supported him, and the scene was chaotic for a while. Call 120. Who knows first aid? Come and save people. Nan Yan's eyes flashed slightly, and she strode over. I'll do it. Shen Junqing was surprised again. Don't tell him. His adopted sister can also do medicine. Then, Nan Yan used practical actions to tell him that she really knows how to treat. After 2 minutes, the man who had fainted woke up slowly under her acupuncture. Nan Yan took out the silver needles and said in a cold voice, send him to a quiet place and let him lie down for a while. Once his emotions are stable, there will be nothing serious. The others praised Nan Yan one by one. Shen Junqing pulled Nan Yan to his side, curved his peach blossom eyes, and asked with a swaggering smile, Sister Yan Yan, is there anything else you don't know? I don't know a lot, but I know a lot. Nan Yan answered casually. Shen Junqing's smile deepened, well, Yan Yan is really amazing. Seeing that the chaos was over, they shouted, who is next? Don't delay our Ji Sitabang gambling king's time. Shen Junqing supported Nan Yan's shoulders and pushed her forward, go sister, kill his prestige. Nan Yan sat down and rolled up her long sleeve slowly, revealing her white and slender wrists. After rolling up, she raised her eyes casually and looked at the opposite side, what do you want to play? Why is it a little girl? There is no one in your casino who dares to go on stage. Ji Sitabang frowned, a little angry, are you trying to humiliate me? Let her go. For Ji Sitabang, gambling with women is very cheap. Women are only worthy of staying at home to wash clothes and cook, not to go to the gambling table. Because they don't deserve it? Nan Yan looked at him with a cold gaze, looking straight at his slightly angry expression, and asked word by word, do you look down on women? Women should not enter casinos. Such a sacred place, how can they be allowed to defile it? Very good. Nan Yan curled the corners of her lips coldly, then today, I will represent the woman you look down on and abuse you. What a joke, just you. Nan Yan supported the gambling table with both hands, and said lazily and arrogantly, all the items in the casino are up to you to choose.